Hello, everybody, and welcome to another night of Chair League. I am Esquire Sandwich, and tonight we're going to get right into a Division 3 game between Air Muradin on the blue side and Bye Bye on the red side. This is a Division 3 matchup. Both of these teams are 1-2 so far in this season, and we're going to be starting our best of 3 series on Infernal Shrines. This was the map chosen by Air Muradin, the blue team, so Bye Bye will start our draft off. Of course, there's lots of ways that you can play this map. A lot of heroes can work. Kerrigan is always a fun favorite. Big AoE to help clear the objectives. Sylvanas or other specialists. They can really capitalize on the Punisher's pushing ability. And Bye Bye are going to take their time with this first ban. They just learned which map we'd be playing on a few minutes ago, so they might be figuring out exactly how they want to run their strategy. Or they might just be using the time to not just think about just the ban, but think about what they want to do afterwards. And Oriel is the first ban. Oriel's a great healer. Overall a strong healer. She works with a lot of comps. It's a great idea to take her out of the way early. Malthael is the counterban and an insta-lock for Dahaka. Makes a lot of sense. His Primal Swarm clears out, is great for clearing out the objective. His global abilities are great for soaking until the last minute and joining late. And Air Muradin is going to respond with a Kalthos, looking very spiffy in his Cyberhawk outfit. And an Uther.
No man.
Nothing surprising so far. Uther's been seeing a lot of play since his rework a couple of weeks ago. And KT oscillates between overpowered and just very good. So what does Bye Bye want to do here? Air Muradin has taken a healer and a damage. They probably want to get some healer of their own since they've already banned one. They banned a great healer in Oriel. Uther's already taken. If they don't pick one here, probably going to see a Malfurion ban or a Stukov ban, but they do lock up Stukov. And they are going to grab Sylvanas to help make that Punisher push very, very dangerous. And they haven't given away too much of, they can be very flexible. Bye Bye can be very flexible with their last two picks, so it's tough for Air Muradin to pick a good ban here, and they decide to go with Chromie. And Chromie's very annoying, especially if you don't draft the right team to find a way to get on top of her, some way to dive back to her. She'll poke your team down so quickly, and her range is so difficult to manage that it'd be very hard to counter. So getting her out of the way is a safe call, is a fair call. And for Air Muradin, they could look to ban a tank that they're a little bit worried about. Could look to ban an Arthas, who's very strong on this map, and Syndragosa would give Air Muradin the same sort of extra push on the Punisher that Sylvanas is giving Bye Bye, so I think Arthas would be a very strong ban here. And going all the way to the last second, it is Arthas. You know I like it. Again, now Infernal Air Muradin, they have again a lot of options. It's they don't have to take their tank yet. There's plenty of options for them. So even if Bye Bye goes double tank, there's plenty of options left on the table for Air Muradin, assuming they have the hero pool for it. So I think they can kind of start to round out their team a little bit if they want to go, take a Vala or a Greymane, lock that up here. Of course, if they did take their tank early, that would leave their last pick very flexible for, to completely define their comp. But I definitely want to see a sustained damage dealer in this pick. And they are going to lock up the Greymane and a Nubrak. Nubrak's still a strong hero. He's a difficult hero to solo tank with now, especially with his very telegraphed dive in. Stukov should be able to capitalize by dropping the lurking arm, because you know more or less where Nubrak's going to come out. So he's going to come out of that and he's going to be in bad shape. So Nubrak's going to have to be careful about that. Stukov is going to have to keep his eyes up and try to capitalize on those dives. How does Bye Bye want to round this out? Again, a lot of options. Vala is a viable option for them. A little bit more sustained damage than Sylvanas offers, and they probably want to get a little bit of AoE just so they don't get completely poked to death. Greymane with the cocktail and KT with the with obviously all of his abilities, but it's a lot of AoE, so I think they're going to want some response to that. And they go with Johanna and Li Ming. Ming, while Ming's a great mage, she does suffer a little bit on this map because all of the skeleton warriors on the objective block her orbs and her missiles. So if she doesn't position pretty aggressively, it's hard for her to connect on heroes with those abilities. So she's going to have to be careful about her positioning to get the damage, but also not leave herself exposed to an Anubarak dive. I mean, there's a lot of pick-off potential on both teams, but Muradin especially, with a Gravity Lapse from Kalthas, a dive for Anubarak, stun from Uther, if they grab Sylvanas or Ming, or even Stukov probably in one of those, any of that combo, they're going to be dead. And I just don't think Dahaka or Johanna would be able to do anything about it. If they grabbed Li Ming or Sylvanas, if Stukov can get a well-timed bio kill switch, the healing might be able to keep them alive, but it'll be tough. And Muradin rounds out their comp. They are going double tank with the Diablo, so really doubling down on that pick off engage comp. That's a very scary composition because if anyone on Bye Bye gets caught out of position, they're going down. Bye Bye, on the other hand, they have the scarier push if they can win the Immortal, because they locked in the Sylvanas, and Muradin has no true response to it. And their wave clear is also, let's see, it's a little bit better. KT has obviously very good wave clear. Greymane's a great solo laner. Diablo's okay. Uther and Anubarak, not so much. But for Bye Bye, we've got Johanna, Sylvanas, both very strong wave clears, and Stukov is a pretty solid wave clear as well. So they've got I think they've got the macro game have the advantage, but in terms of the fights and the engages, if Muradin can get those pickoffs, or if Bye Bye finds themselves out of position, they're going to get punished for it. And as we head into our first game, let's get these introductions underway. On the blue side, Muradin, we have Fish Kebab on Diablo, N. Miller on Uther, Jizenbutt on Greymane, Deus Ex on KT, and Grant on Anubarak. On the red side for Bye Bye, we have Gravy Train on Stukov, Sea Spider on Li Ming, Murdog on Sylvanas, C-Dub 8D on Johanna. Down here in the bot lane is Other White Guy on Dahaka. And Bye Bye is wasting no time. They're going to cheese top lane. Diablo has scouted it out and manages to scare them off, and they are not able to get much off of that, as all four members of Muradin rotate to make sure that they get Bye Bye gets no value off this. Diablo's coming back into so we've got Dahaka and Greymane duking it out bottom. KT did go with Convection, Q build for Greymane, Nerubian Armor, trying to get a little bit there. Luckily she's dry enough to be able to back away. Muradin armor is going to be very helpful for all of the Li Ming damage. Make Nubarak very survivable. Devil's Due and Devil's Quest for Sylvanas getting caught with the flip, the gravity lapse. He does manage to use Haunting Wave to escape. And very well done there by Murdog to find a way out of that stun lock. Over on the side of Bye Bye, we've got Regeneration Master, Astral Presence, Fetid Touch, Enhanced Agility, and Overflowing Quiver. So pretty standard talents for the most part. For everybody's part. And no significant, a couple of scary moments for Bye Bye, but nothing of significance accomplished. Great use of Unstoppable there by Johanna to make Uther waste his stun. Dahaka getting very low here. Presumably he's going to just go home and then brush stalk back out to mid. And Bye Bye is looking for a pickoff here before the Immortal starts. Damage going on Greymane, but nothing of significance. Johanna a little low on mana. Good pull there by other white guy. But they all collapse there, and KT just got a ton of stacks. Take a quick look where he is on that talent. 9 already. He got 4 off that one view. Sylvanas getting caught by the stun, the flip from Diablo, and the charge from Nubarak. And down she goes, and now it's Air Muradin with the initiative, and they're going to get that Immortal started. Bye Bye instantly decides, realizes they can't contest it. They're just going to get the soap, wait for Sylvanas to come back, and they should be able to contest it before Air Muradin gets more than 20. Greymane doing some damage to other white guy. He's going to have to back off. Air Muradin has actually abandoned mostly the Immortal. They wanted to make sure they didn't lose out on any soap. And again, now it's Johanna getting caught in the stun, launching the damage. She pops Unstoppable, and she is going to manage to escape. There's the flip on Dahaka. He's getting very low. He burrows, but it's not going to be enough. As soon as he gets up, Greymane is there for the kill. KT with a great gravity lapse. We have 3 follow stun by Nubarak. Living bombs on Li Ming and Stukov. They both managed to escape with slivers of health. That has to be frustrating. But Air Muradin does confirm the Punisher, and with a full level lead, only 4 minutes into the game, they're going to be a little bit aggressive here. They've got Greymane soaking mid, and that's going to be contested top. They're going to push this. They're going to try to get this early fort, and they're definitely looking to get 7 to take a fight with a talent advantage. Punisher jumps on, grabs Johanna and Stukov. Diablo going deep, gets the flip on Li Ming. But he's just zoning out the entirety of Bye Bye that's down here while they confirm the fort. Punisher's going to dive on Li Ming, but after taking out this well, Air Muradin is retreating. And they're going to try to defend this push top. So certainly not an equal trade, but while Bye Bye lost bottom fort, they did manage to take out essentially all of the top wall for Air Muradin. So keeping themselves relevant in terms of XP. They're just missing out on some of the lane soap though. They're abandoning both top and mid at this point. And they're missing some soap bottom as well. There's no reason for all 3 of these members to be here and missing any of these lane minions, because when you're already down a level, you want to do everything you can to stay even XP. A great stun from Nubarak, but the wailing Haunting Wave is timed perfectly, and Murdog is able to escape. Looking again at the talents, Greymane is going full Q build. Standard talents for KT, almost finished that Convection quest, and it doesn't look like Bye Bye is in any position to kill him before he does finish that. He's likely playing very safe from here on out. Some Beetle build. A little bit of a Beetle talent coming in from Nubarak. Standard Diablo talents. Cleanse on Uther. Which would be very helpful if you can be quick about it to catch somebody in Diablo, the Hackathon. And over on the side of Bye Bye, we've got Lost Souls and Unstable Poison, Symbiosis, and Minion build. One good spread and within my reach, so going for the extra range on the arm. Blast Calamity, so teleport build for Li Ming. Regen Master, Law of Hope, and Sins Exposed. So going for an extra damage on Johanna. Diablo's going deep. There's focus, but Li Ming gets picked up in the gravity lapse. Flip from Diablo. She tries to teleport. Johanna doing a great job blocking him. Nubarok with a deep dive gets the stun, and KT finishes his quest with a fantastic flame strike, and Deus Ex confirms the kill. That was fantastic coordination on the side of Air Muradin. And that's going to effectively confirm Air Muradin getting 10, and Bye Bye can do nothing but soak this up. And I'm going to take this opportunity to try to work on this, oh, I'm going to stop paying attention. Air Muradin did, or Bye Bye did dive in, and Stukov was deleted. And Bye Bye's going back to finish off the shrine. Bye Bye is going to soaking full bottom lane. They're going to soak middle lane. They'll be able to get 10, at least be able to defend this with even talents. And there's the Punisher diving deep. A stun, a great stun on, well, everybody, but Wailing Arrow is going to just hit a Nubarok. Surprisingly, Savalas did manage to escape. Murdog's doing a great job with those haunting waves to be able to escape certain death. And while the fort goes down, the Punisher has lost most of its health. Don't know if we'll be able to get much more of this. A great stun. Pick up Haka, the Living Bomb, does a ton of damage. As soon as he comes out of stasis, he is deleted as well. And with the 5v4 and the 2-level advantage, looks like Air Muradin is going to be happy to finish off the wave, get their damage in, and retreat to get some camps. Get whatever they want, really, because Bye Bye is not in a position to contest this. They need to get soaked. They either need to contest immediately before before Air Muradin hits 13, or they need to get their soak up so they're not down a talent at the shrine. And it doesn't look like they're in a position to fight them at this moment. Take a quick look again at that kill on Li Ming. Back this up a tick. So you see the Diablo zoning her out, the great gravity lapse from KT, and all that damage. Uther following up with the stun, and the great dive in there by a Nubarok to confirm the kill along with KT. That is excellent coordination on the side of Air Muradin. And that's exactly what they're looking to do with their pick-off comp. They have great stun lock. And Bye Bye is going to be very careful about those sorts of pickoffs, or they're just not going to be able to stay relevant in this game. As it is, they're down 1.5 levels, and Li Ming getting caught again by the stun. Both stuns. Johanna did manage to keep her alive for an extra moment, but the damage from KT was just too much. Stukov goes down as well, caught in the back. And this is going to put Bye Bye in a very difficult position. That charge and pick off on Sylvanas is also not going to help anything. And Air Muradin is going straight for the keep. On the side of Bye Bye, Dahaka is soaking top, getting those waves, getting that XP. At this point, it makes sense. There's nothing else you can do here. This keep is going down. but it just puts Bye Bye in a rough position where they can't engage. They need to soak, but they also can't let Air Muradin get this Immortal. Well, let me rephrase that. I think they're going to have to let Air Muradin get this Punisher because they can't contest it until they get 13. What they need is to soak everywhere they can. Dahaka, in my opinion, should not be leaving top lane. He should be staying top lane, getting the 13, and then all of Bye Bye engages 13 versus 15. Yes, you're down 2 levels. Yes, your team fights haven't been working out, but you need to make the effort, or you're going to have a Punisher pushing, and you're going to have Air Muradin at 16, and then they're going to have major power spikes. Diablo is going to get overpower and make the pickoff and isolation even stronger. KT is going to get Fury of the Sunwell. You're not doing yourself any favors by stalling out. Okay, and let's see how they defend this. Now, Muradin and Uther are mid. I'm wondering if they are just going to rotate down. Haka's joined as well. They do have the camp pushing top, so if they can make a strong defense here, it could work out. But they lure the Punisher over. Johanna is baiting it forward. The fort is doing its damage. Diablo with the charge, but a great unstoppable by Johanna is going to prevent him from flipping. And here comes the damage. There's Blessed Shield, a stun. Diablo gets pulled, but the defense is keeping him alive, and Li Ming a little bit too far forward there gets picked off. Stukov in a very interesting position, got cocooned and Wailing armed the team back towards the core, but unfortunately with that level lead and the talent advantage, there's just nothing that Bye Bye could do. Air Muradin was in, at this point, a commanding position. And with the level lead and the early pickoff, they're able to just finish off the core. And one last kill on Stukov for good measure, dropping Divine Shield. And a very well played game one by Air Muradin, really showing the threat that kind of isolation and pickoff comp can offer. As we take a look at some of the stats, siege damage, we see that KT, or rather Greymane, was out sieging even Sylvanas, and that's mostly because Sylvanas, because of the position Bye Bye was in, had to spend a fair amount of the game defensively, wasn't able to push offensively, and certainly they never confirmed a Punisher, so they were never able to really highlight what the comp was chiefly hoping to accomplish, which was get the Punisher and have Sylvanas amplify that Punisher. And hero damage, Sylvanas did do a very good job of providing the top hero damage in the game, outdoing even KT. But if you look at the rest of the team, it just wasn't able to compete. No one came close to Greymane as a secondary damage. And looking at the talents, I think talents most of all were standard. And the winners of our game one are Air Muradin. And we're going to hop right into game two, which is going to be on Battlefield of Eternity. We're going to keep this Diablo train going. As Bye Bye will populate. Let's see here. And let's get somebody from Air Muradin into the game as well. All right, we just need to get these players logged in on Chair League. And then we'll be able to get going. Now it's worth noting that at least for Air Muradin, they've gone 2-0 or 0-2 so far in all three of their games. They do not mess around. They are all in or all out. Let's see if Bye Bye can say something about that this time. So we are on Battlefield of Eternity. Air Muradin will be starting the draft. And looks like everyone's ready to go.
Battlefield of Eternity.
And this time it's Air Muradin. This was Bye Bye's map pick. And it's going to be Air Muradin to start us off with the draft. They're going to start out with the Dahaka ban. This is not as strong a map for Dahaka because it's only 2 lanes, because his abilities don't do as much damage to the objective. It's he's not usually a top priority. Uther, the ban from Bye Bye, makes a lot of sense for all the reasons that Uther is great any other time. And Malthael being first pick for Air Muradin. Malthael's strong on this map because he does percentage-based damage. Especially once he gets level 16, he can burn the Immortal pretty quickly. But there's 2 issues with Malthael on this map that I find. One is that his damage is, of course, damage over time. And for the first half, a lot of his damage gets wasted because once the Immortal hits the halfway point and we enter halftime, there's a lot of damage that should be coming because the mark is on there that gets nullified because halftime starts and the Immortals are immune during halftime. So that's a bit of an issue for me, that he loses out on a lot of that damage, and his damage is also very slow because it's damage over time. However, he can solo the Immortal faster than most other heroes could, and certainly safely. So he's a great pick if you want to put 4 people on defense and Malthael solo damaging the Immortal. On the side of Bye Bye, as you see, they did pick Vala and Varian. Vala is an absolute monster on this map. She does so much damage to the Immortal, can burn it so fast, and of course does damage to everything else in her path. So that's a great pick from them. And Varian, it's great to set up kills and to slow and with the taunt keep anybody out of position. Air Muradin rounding up their first picks with their healer and their tank. Malfurion and Muradin, all safe picks and looking to give me the hardest possible time casting with Malthael, Malfurion, and Muradin. Trying to think who else they can add to make this worse. Are there any other M heroes? I'm sure they'll find them. Oriel and KT getting banned. Good picks, makes sense. Oriel and Vala work well together. Vala's a great battery. KT is always a threat, and of course, Air Muradin have shown themselves to be extremely competent on that KT, so it makes sense to get that out of there. Bye Bye is going to go with Li Ming again. This is a much stronger map for her, especially if she goes Seeker build and extra damage on single target with the missiles. She also becomes a great burner of the Immortal. But even if she does go orb build or teleport build, mostly orb build, she can siege from very far away, get damage on the Immortal, get damage on the heroes around the Immortal trying to protect it. So she can be very, very effective here. And they're also going to grab their healer in Rhaegar. That slow, along with the variant slows, are going to be very dangerous for Air Muradin. If they do get out of position, it's going to be a hard time for them to get home. Now, Muradin will be able to jump, and Malthael might be able to use his W ability to escape, but Malfurion and Greymane, well, Greymane might be able to roll depending on which position he's in. So actually, they round up with Anub'arak and Greymane. They do potentially nullify the dangers of the slow by taking heroes that have escapes other than simply walking away. And that is Air Muradin taunting bye-bye to take Murky. I mean, he's right. I don't think they won't. I remember the days before Chair League was as established as it currently is, and they were before HOTS was established as it is, and there was no in-game drafting system. We had to use outside sources. When a new hero came out that wasn't on the external drafter tool, if you wanted to pick that hero, you would pick Murky as a stand-in. That's how much nobody wanted to play Murky. Is we'll make Murky a stand-in for the new hero because there's no way anyone could possibly pick Murky legitimately. We'll cross that bridge if we ever get to it, and I don't think we ever did. So ETC is the final pick for Bye Bye. So both teams again going double tank, and both teams very balanced in their tanks in that they have a Muradin and ETC are classic, beefy, peely tanks. ETC a little bit less so since his nerfs, but generally speaking, that's still true. And then Varian and Anubrak as a frontline brawler tank who's going to be the initiator. So both teams have a lot of potential here. I'm really excited to see this game 2. I'm really hoping we get to see a game 3. And let's get into it on Battlefield of Eternity for Game 2. On the blue side, we have Air Muradin, Grant on Anubrak, N. Miller on Malfurion, Jizenbutt on Greymane, Fish Kebab on Muradin, and Deus Ex on Malthael. Over for Team Bye Bye. We have other white guy on ETC, Murdog on Vala, Gravy Train on Rhaegar, Sea Spider on Li Ming, and C-Bud Dub. C-Dub 8D on Varian. We've got Vala ETC top. Malfurion makes sense to be the solo laner. He's an excellent solo laner, as is Greymane. Both, I think, were viable choices here. But what's most important is that Bye Bye does not have any truly fantastic solo laners, so they've had to commit 2 to top lane, and obviously only 3 to the defense, whereas Air Muradin is able to commit 4 to the attack on bottom. So they should be able to push this fairly hard with that man advantage. Level 1 talents, it's going to be Stormbolt for Perfect Storm rather for Muradin to increase the damage on Stormbolt, Nerubian Armor for Anubrak, Scouting Drone for Malfurion, Fear of the Reaper for Malthael, and Cocktail for Greymane. Parry for Varian, more Astral Presence for Li Ming, Hungering Arrow, or Monster Hunger rather, to increase the Hungering Arrow on Vala, Lightning Bond, and Block Party. Block Party is absolutely a great pick here to limit the damage that Greymane can do, and it's not going to fully limit the damage from Malthael, because of course the majority of Malthael's damage comes from his straight, but still strong. Face Melt from ETC, he does use Face Melt to create some distance, and the Power Slide to escape. He does have to use his tap, but nobody died. XP about equal as we go to our first Immortal phase. And both teams are looking to head down to Bye Bye's Immortal. Malthael here gets the offense started. Varian is looking for something to happen here, but Anubrak doing a great job of stalling out. Malthael does get caught in the stun. Meanwhile, up top, ETC and Vala are not able to get in there. And with a decent lead, Greymane and Malthael are going to town on Bye Bye's Immortal, and Bye Bye are trying to do the same. ETC slides in, Muradin taking some damage, but is able to Dwarf Toss out, and very little damage put on Bye Bye's Immortal as we head to halftime, and it looks like both teams are going to go full offense now. Of course, Air Muradin is going to come away with the first Immortal, but this makes sense for Bye Bye to just weaken the Immortal as much as possible, make sure it has as low a shield as possible, and then you can defend it pretty easily. It's a 2-minute Immortal. It's not going to do a ton of damage. And they're going to send Malthael That's Deus Ex on Malfield to solo bottom. Newbrock with a deep dive onto ETC. No follow-up, and he will safely retreat.
To me, mortals.
And with a small XP lead, let's see how Muradin can do with this. They decide to kill the wave to get that for extra pressure and extra protection for the Immortal, whereas Vala starts working it down very quickly. The shield's already gone. Newbrock with another deep dive, catches Rhaegar. Muradin goes deep with the Dwarf Toss. The sun is off the mark. He's getting very low, but there's just not enough follow-up by Bye to finish him off. Greymane dives as well. He did a lot of damage, but is able to escape with his life. And the Immortal does go down. The fort still has about a quarter, a little less, an eighth of its life. And Newbrock taking a lot of damage, but is able to burrow out as well. So a lot of threats down there, but no kills. But bottom, I apologize, I did not anticipate ETC getting that pick off on Malfield. I'm going to assume that Malfield used his W and got a little too close to these towers. And ETC was able to capitalize. So we've got a battle of the tanks down bottom, ETC and Muradin. And up top, everybody else. XP close to normalized here, but of course, if Muradin is able to crack that top fort, they'll get a nice boost from it. They'll definitely hit 7 first. Newbrock dives in, grabs the Valop, she's able to fall out to safety. Greymane taking a lot of damage. Nice shield there from N. Miller. And Malfield is looking to get some hits. He's looking to get some stacks on that Black Harvest. I also see Thunderburn, Legion of Beetles again, Elune's Grace, more Cocktails, more Parry, Charge Blast, Feral Heart, Puncturing Arrow, and Loudspeakers. Meanwhile, this Muradin ETC battle is still raging on. I think Muradin does have the advantage in this fight. But of course, it's very unlikely that he'd be able to kill ETC. He'll just push the lane a little bit faster than ETC will. Mostly a standoff. Up top, Bye is able to grab top camp, while Muradin is able to grab their own siege camp. And they immediately go to attack Bye's Immortal. Bye goes to do the same, but they are late. They're there about 12 seconds after Muradin started, and you can see they got almost no damage in. And that's really the benefit of planning early and getting to that Immortal first thing. And Newbrock with a great dive in to grab 3. The root catches Li Ming. She's trying to teleport out. Greymane's on the case. Great Dwarf Toss by Muradin to confirm the kill, and now Rhaegar's in trouble. He's trying to get his skills wherever he can. And Rhaegar does go down. ETC managed to escape with just a smidgen of health. And again, Grant on a Newbrock with just these excellent dives and pickoffs. And just as in the last game, when you can pick off some damage early, especially there, the dive onto Li Ming, and Miller followed up with the root. And although she did manage to teleport out, they've got Greymane for the chase. And without Li Ming, it's very difficult for Bye to continue the fight. It's very important for Muradin that Li Ming is the one that they're picking off, because she has those resets. If they pick off Vala, of course that's fantastic. They can probably convert that fight. But chasing into a Li Ming is dangerous, because if you start to get low and she starts to get those resets, you can very quickly turn into a throw, and what started as a 1-kill advantage for you turns into a 3-kill deficit. But the fact that they keep picking off the Li Ming eliminates that fear. And now they're getting ready for a big gank. Here comes Muradin, gets the stun on Rhaegar. The root goes down, it's a little off the mark, and catches Varian. And no kills confirmed, but it does push all of Bye off the fort, and the Immortal is able to claim it effectively without being contested, and that is going to give level 10 to Muradin, which is going to put Bye in a very difficult situation. They don't have ETC with them. I think this makes sense that they have somebody top soaking. I don't think that person will be ETC. ETC has the worst wave clear on their team, and the best peel and best pickoff potential for Bye. So I think they need ETC with the team, and maybe Varian solo laning top. But they do manage to kill the Immortal. They lost the front wall, but the keep is intact. The well does go down, and that could be extremely significant come the next fight. Here comes ETC. He's gonna get picked off. Sorry about that. The root was on point, and the dive from Grant on Muradin, the root from Ed Miller, again, is just such a devastating combo. And if that weren't enough to confirm the kill, there's Fish Kebab on Muradin with the dive and the stun. There was a cleanse used on Vala a little after the fact, so not a lot of value there, and it's going to be on cooldown, which could also be very significant. Those cleanses are really the only thing that at this point Bye Bye can rely on to avoid these pickoffs, because Air Muradin has so many means of engage. If a Nubrak doesn't get you with the dive, then Malfurion's going to get you with the root, and if Malfurion doesn't get you with the root, then Muradin's going to get you with the Dwarf Toss and Stormbolt. So it's so hard for Bye Bye to avoid all of that engage. The cleanse is very important to nullify the engage, and then that gives Bye Bye the opportunity to counter engage, and they are looking to go big. They did get Mosh Pit because they need something big to counter these fights. Now, Muradin is a little behind the rest of the team, but I don't think Bye Bye will be able to capitalize. But they do come down. They absolutely want to find a fight here. They're 10. Air Muradin is not 13. They need to make something happen quick. ETC is very far behind. A little bit of miscommunication there. And very incisive. He does want to start to fight. A lot of damage going down. Nubrak. ETC goes deep. He does not pop Mosh Pit, and he is stunned, rooted, and silenced. Not silenced, but just stunned and rooted before he was able to pop it off. I think he had an opportunity to get that Mosh off, but it was a very small window, and he was not able to get it. And that is Gleaming and ETC down, and this is almost certainly going to be another Immortal claimed for Air Muradin, and it is going to be threatening top keep. Meanwhile, the minion waves and these camps are threatening bottom keep, so Bye Bye has their backs against the wall here. Ancestral did get used in that fight. What they need to do is regroup and push as 5, defend this Immortal, try to get a big Mosh Pit, and try to make a fight happen, but they are a little bit of miscommunication. They're not sure where they're going. Vala was in by herself, and there's the pickoff. A great Mosh Pit to catch 4 of them. Unfortunately, Vala was already effectively dead, at least removed from the fight, so they weren't able to capitalize or get any kills off of it. Li Ming is stuck in the cocoon. ETC is getting very low. He does manage to power slide away, but that is a free death, and that will confirm the Immortal. I think Vala had the right idea there. Murdog had the right idea that the right call there was to go to the Immortal, defend, try to make something happen with that 6th player. But she can't do it alone. She needs to wait for the team to get there. So Bye Bye needs to get on the same page here, try to make something happen. There's a stun, great follow-up stun from Vala to pick off that Muradin, and they're gonna have to go top immediately to try to save this top keep. But without that Muradin, that's one more engage missing, and hopefully for Bye Bye they'll be able to convert this to a 5v4. Mosh Pit's still down for 47 seconds, but Ancestral is up, Taunt is up. They might be able to make something happen here. Still that was a full health Immortal. Remember, Bye Bye did effectively no damage to it, so they need to burn it. They need to burn it quick. Air Muradin playing a little bit safer, knowing they don't have all 5 members. Just letting Greymane get some soak, get some Q-build damage. If we take a look at some of the stats, see damage-wise, Vala is doing work, leading in siege damage and hero damage, and Rhaegar is doing well on healing. It's just the pickoffs, I think, are what's really hurting Bye Bye. I mean, because it's not even that many deaths. 7-3. It's not that much of a deficit, but of course they're having the worst time. Here comes Muradin with the dive, the stun from the ult from Malthael. There's the Twilight Dream. There is absolutely everything. And for what it's worth, that actually was not as bad as it could have been. Only 2 deaths for 5 ults. So Bye did manage to get out of that uh, with saving themselves some damage, saving a little bit of their dignity, but unfortunately those 2 deaths are really coming at a rough time because Air Muradin is about to get 16. The Immortal's coming up very soon. And again, it's going to be so difficult for Bye to try to contest the Immortal when they're down not just 3 levels, but a talent. So what do they need to do? They need to try to find an engage immediately, but Air Muradin doing a great job on these camps. They're keeping the pressure up, preventing Bye from getting out of base. And it's always very tough when you find yourselves in these situations. All Bye can do is clear the waves as quickly as possible and then try to find a pick somewhere. Great anticipation there by Vala to run back before Nubrax Dunk can get off. The cleanse absolutely valued there as Vala did not get caught in the root. Those are some abilities down. Here comes Varian looking for the charge. ETC dives in. There's the Mosh. He catches 3 of them. He does not get a Nubrax, but does ETC and cancel the Mosh. Down goes the Ming. There's the root and stun to pick off ETC. And now it's Malthael, who's very deep. He's going to be healing. He already used his ultimate, so he's in trouble, but not enough trouble. With the follow-up from Muradin, Leap, and a Nubrax, he does survive. They do pick off the Varian, and with the 3-level lead, with 3 heroes down, Air Muradin is taking the core, and I don't think there's anything Bye can do about it. There's just tremendous coordination on the side of Air Muradin in both of these games. Although Muradin is taking a lot of damage now, the jump, he does get picked off, but with 30% left, Ming doing everything she can. 4 at 20%. Greymane doing all the damage. 9%, 6%. 6%. It's alive. That's all that matters. It's alive. It's a full team wipe against Air Muradin, and Bye, at least Vala, immediately goes to the Immortal, and as soon as everyone else is up, they need to get there as well. They need to do everything, unfortunately. They need to clear these waves, they need to get this Immortal, and how they would be able to push with this Immortal, I'm not sure. If they leave base, they're just going to lose the catapults. But maybe they can rally off this. There's nothing I would love more than to see Bye rally off this. They are going to manage to confirm the Immortal. It is going to be a full strength Immortal, and it's a 16-minute Immortal, so it's strong. Which is good because, as I said, I don't think Bye can really get too far away from base. They need to clear the waves, and if they go up and push up at Air Muradin's fort, it's very likely that Air Muradin might just go around and backdoor them, and that the core will be dead before the Bye is even able to hearth back. But they are going to manage to keep them contained. Getting damage in. Muradin getting caught in the stun by ETC. A lot of damage going out by Malthael. But they do not manage to get any picks. And the Immortal now has lost its shield, doing damage to its health. Mosh Pit is still up. Ancestral's still up. And Bye cannot be playing this pass. And we need to make something happen. There's the dive. There's the Mosh. Muradin is in a position to stop it, and he does, but not before Malthael goes down. The Immortal is still pushing, but these catapults are getting awfully close to that core. And Vala's low on mana. Rhaegar did hearth, and he's going to clear that, so they will protect the rest of the core. Leaving his hearthing home, I think that's a mistake. I think Rhaegar has got it. He's got very good wave clear with Earthbound Earth Shield is the talent. There it is. Lightning Bomb is the talent. As he puts the totem down, it puts a shield on the totem. It also puts a shield on himself. He can get camps and clear waves very effectively with that. And what's most important for Bye Bye is to keep up lane pressure. They need this camp. They need top camp. I think they needed to get that camp bottom as well. I think it was a little too passive for them to give that up. Yes, it's risky. Yes, Air Muradin could engage on you, but your core's at 6% with no structures left, and you haven't really touched any of the keeps. So you need to act. You gotta do something, and that something is not Valley getting picked off. She is in trouble here. I don't know if it's gonna be able to save her. She gets rooted. There's the cleanse, but it's not enough. Tormented Souls gets popped, and Malthael getting damage on everybody. He has finished his quest, so he's getting a lot of damage. The stun and root, a follow-up stun for the Muradin. ETC's taking a lot of damage. He does survive. Variant goes down, and this is going to have to be game. It was a good little rally there that Bye Bye had. They were starting to look coordinated. They were starting to possibly see some things happen, but unfortunately, the pick-off comp, the damage, and the coordination from Air Muradin just put them too far behind to make it happen. But that was a very exciting game. And again, both games, the real, the best thing I can say, the clearest thing that gave Air Muradin the win was simply the coordination. They were always moving as a team. Even if they were soaking 1 in the top lane, 4 in the bottom lane, they knew what the goal was. They knew what the rest of the team wanted to accomplish, and they were able to make it happen. Bye-bye. There were a few times where it looked like there was some disagreement amongst the players. Where should we go next? What are we trying to do next? As we look at the stats again, Air Muradin, or rather, let's start with Bye Bye Valley again, Murdog, with an excellent game, again, topping in hero damage, topping in siege damage, very few deaths. That pickoff at the end was a little greedy, but overall he played an excellent game. And on the side of Air Muradin, I think Grant on a Nubrak, although he doesn't have the strongest stats, the tanks never do, he absolutely made so many pickoffs possible, but the combination of Fish Kebab, Grant, and N Miller, the stuns, the roots, it made Jizzin and Deus Ex job very easy. So congratulations to them. Let's take another look at the talents. Mostly standard picks across the board, I believe. And we'll take one last look at this. This was the fight right towards the right after they were able to take the top keep, and Air Muradin set up what they were a 5-man gank, effectively under Bye Bye's tower. So let's play back. Slow this down a little bit. And Grant Anubrak's going to make the call. He dives in. Malthael drops his E to be able to use his W get in. Pops Tormented Souls. So much damage down. Rhaegar gets picked off, but the Ancestral did go off to keep ETC alive, at least temporarily, at least long enough to distract the rest of the team so Varian, Vala, and Leeming could get away. An excellent play, an excellent coordination on the side of Air Muradin. Again, it was an excellent game from both teams. Air Muradin is the winner tonight, continuing their streak of going 2-0 in some fashion, and I look forward to seeing more from both these teams in the future. Once again, I am Esquire Sandwich. I thank everybody for watching, and you all have a good night.